Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Life of Senza. So, I think we're in business. I think she's in labor now. She does have a temperature of 98, which is 98.8, which is very typical of labor. She does have significant swelling at the end of her vulva, but I've been informed that that is normal. Normally, my dogs do have swelling, but not at the base like that. But what I've been told is that basically because of the fact that she has so much progesterone and estrogen running through her body right now, it's causing more tissue swelling because she has so many puppies. Aside from that, and this was actually coming from my vet and my mentor. My mentor, he said that what she's going through right now is his lines. He said he's seen it before. They call it the elephant trunk, and he said that that it is just when they have these huge litters. I promise you, she eats constantly, but yes, she does look very skinny. It's just the reality is that what my mentor told me is that we're probably looking at least 16 puppies. To put that in perspective, I've never had, actually I take that back. One time I had 16 puppies back when I was breeding pit bulls, and it was a much larger female. I don't know, maybe not much larger, but anyway, but she looked very similar, and she did fantastic. So anyway, so as ugly as it looks, the body can do some pretty wild things when a dog is pregnant. And from what I've been told, and I've sent pictures to my mentor, and we actually took her into the vet, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was good. The problem with taking them to the vet it's like an ultrasound. You can't see anything at this time. There's nothing to see in ultrasound. X-ray will only give you a puppy count and kind of some orientation, but it's not really going to tell you much else. And they will not do a cesarean on a female unless she's in active labor and having trouble, unless they know what the progesterone dating is. And that's why with Blondie, I did progesterone testing before she was due, so that I would know when she was due to take her in to have it done. With this dog, Trinity, I wasn't there for her breeding. We dropped her off with Vicky, and she was there, and Vicky is not present every moment of the day, so she doesn't. Well, first of all, we didn't even do progesterone testing. So let's just say hypothetically that they did catch the first day, which I do believe that she did, because she's past the date of that first pairing. Normally, in my experience, females will take to a male for 3 days, and it's typically the tail end of that, which would make sense if I think it was March 21st was the first pairing, then then Monday would have been the day, and so if she conceived on the last day of a 3-day, then it would make sense that it would be today. So, or this evening, right? Because by the time that we probably have these puppies, it'll be early morning of the next day. Aside from that, I had some pretty nasty comments on the other channel. Basically like trying to tell me what to do and this and that. And I'm not going to lie, it's frustrating. There's a woman that I have started following. It's like Friesian horses. And I basically kind of took a cue from her. She has a larger channel than mine. And she basically will tell people, like, don't comment. Like, you don't even comment. And at first I was like, wow, like, that's awesome that she can do that. And she still has a following, because I kind of thought if you would say something, people would get mad. But the reality is, and I don't know why, if it's because I've been watching the Johnny Depp trial, but honestly, it kind of hit me, and I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Like, a person who's not a breeder, a person who's not a vet, should not have an opinion. I mean, you can have an opinion, but you shouldn't voice it. We live in a time now where people, they are on the internet and they have more access to content and different ways of life and things like that than they've ever had. And I think that at a certain point, people think that that gives them the right to form opinions, and it really doesn't. You know, you can speculate, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's any problem with that. Like if I was watching, Dr. Pole, for example, and I've seen enough episodes to know that a horse is choking, but, like I guess I wouldn't think to question him. It's one thing to guess and be like, oh, I think it's going to be this, but it's entirely another to presume that you know better than the person whom you are watching for this content. It's kind of weird to me. And I've had some really self-righteous people basically just be like, I'm just going to say that, I just think that you need to do this, and I'm requesting that you do that. And it's like, lady, I don't care what you're requesting. Your opinion means absolutely diddly nothing to me, because you're not a vet, you're not experienced, and there's a lot that goes into this that you don't think about. Like, for example, with a dog this delicate in this stage, like, do I really want to be loading her up into a vehicle and trucking her all the way over to the veterinary office, which is a stress point for most dogs, and cause her to go into early labor just because a subscriber is concerned? You know what I mean? No, I'm gonna wait for my vet's opinion. I sent pictures of her vulva to my vet, quite explicit ones, mind you, and to my mentor. And then on top of that, there's no signs of distress. She's been sleeping. She's been happy. She's been eating. She's been drinking. She's got no bad sign, no fever, no signs of distress, no black fluid. Like, there's nothing to indicate a problem. Heck, she hadn't even been shivering, which is a very clear sign of labor in a dog. So anyway, the reason I put this on Life of Senza is because it's more of like an emotional kind of rant thing, because I'm trying to keep the other side more like, I don't know, like not to say less personal, because I think that my channel has always been very personal, but I want to leave this side to be the more vlog, like opinion, like emotional, whatever, you know what I mean? And so, and I think you guys are here for it, right? Like that's what the point of this channel is. And so anyway, so it's frustrating to see. I think a lot of people don't realize that, I know that in their mind, they feel like they're making the right choice. Like in their mind, they're like, well, this is wrong, or this blah, 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 and I'm going to say something, and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And it never occurs to them, the thought never crosses their mind that A, I've never neglected to get my dog's veterinary care at any time. B, knock on wood, because it can happen to anybody, but so far, I've always gotten my dog's care quick enough to avoid any serious injury or death to my dogs. Now, when you're dealing with labor, people can die. It is risky business. It doesn't matter if you're a dog, cat, human, whatever. It's a risky business. And so there's always the potential for loss of life within the mother, always. Now, we do everything we can to minimize that risk, and to be as careful as possible. But on the flip side, if it ever was to happen, God forbid, I'm not going to judge myself so long as I've done everything that my vet said to do, and everything that my mentor said to do, and everything that I know to do, right? Like, once all of those people, all of those things have been checked, and I know that I'm in, quote unquote compliance with my, protocol, then I know that sometimes there are things that just can't be, avoided. I mean, it's just, I've seen it in other breeders where they'll have a litter, and then, in the morning they'll wake up and the mom passed away. So I say all that so as to make people understand that sometimes these things are unavoidable, and it's not a reason to look and place blame. And I know that on the internet, everybody wants to blame because it's typically it's a bad habit that people have begun on the internet. And it's not done by people who are educated enough in those fields to make those kinds of judgments. It's done by random people who are sitting at home watching content. They don't have any real experience in it. If anything, they might know somebody who knows somebody, or maybe they have a family member who's like a breeder, and it's very rarely and the reason why is anybody that has real experience knows that these things happen. You know what I mean? It's like every time a person dies in in childbirth at a hospital, there's not a lawsuit, because sometimes there's no one to blame. Sometimes bad things happen. And so as long as you're doing everything you can, as long as, everything looks good and blah, 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 then it's really genuinely not an issue. And for me, being the worrywart that I am, I have a really poor response to stress. I think what I've been told is that it could be from like PTSD from my childhood. But basically, when I get a thought that scares me, I get this, like, it feels almost like I'm falling, like that feeling whenever you are trying to go to sleep, but then you feel like you're falling. And so that drop and that massive heart racing thing, and it's physically painful to me. It is literally physically painful and draining to me, because once that rush is over, then I'm physically, my muscles will even be sore. And so I don't even know how I do this. When I bred pit bulls, it wasn't as hard. These dogs are harder. I will say that's why I know people try to judge me for focusing on larger females, but there's a reason for it. I'm trying to minimize the incidence of this kind of stuff happening by producing females that are large enough to be able to handle almost anything. You know what I mean? Like Nirvana did. Nirvana produced, it's hard to describe, but those puppies in there are huge. They're gigantic puppies. And for her to have been able to have them naturally like that without issue, without any assistance, is just, it's the benefit of having a larger female like that. And so, that's why I am trying to focus on some size so that I'm not in a situation where I have a female like this that's just, she's not a small dog. She's 100 pounds. But, we're looking for, Nirvana's like 120. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference there. There's a difference in the bone and the width of the body and all of that stuff. So I guess to say that it's not that I don't want other people to have opinions or things like that. It's that it adds pain, like physical pain and stress, into a situation where you're not helping. You're not doing anything that's going to make it better. You're not really assisting. Typically the advice is useless, like people telling me that I need to get an ultrasound, even though an ultrasound would be useless in this situation. So it's just like unnecessary. You know what I mean? Just stick to what you know, observe and watch, and trust in the reality and my past experience of that. I always go and take them to the vet. You can bet your bottom dollar that I always have the means to take my dog in and manage them and do whatever it is that they need so that they're going to be okay. So anyway, enough of that rant. Like I said, I do think, her temperature dropped to 98. She's been digging in here. That's typically a sign of labor. She's been extremely uncomfortable all day and just kind of moving around a bit. Well, at first she was sleeping really soundly. I had this thing folded up really neatly here, and she kind of slept all day really soundly, which was different because the other days she's been kind of a little antsy and doing some panting, which I think was the Braxton Hicks. And then so today was like the calm before the storm. She slept really soundly all day, didn't want to get up to go to the bathroom, and then recently started warming up a bit as far as like her activity. She can't get comfortable. Her temperature dropped to 98. She started digging and nesting and turning around. So I definitely think that we are closer than we've ever been. So anyway, kind of rewarding you guys on this channel because you are so supportive and letting you guys know first. But, you know, I will be live streaming on the other channel on Senza Tempo whenever we are in active labor. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I just appreciate all the support. It's a real blessing. Just send lots of positive prayers, lots of positive thoughts for my girl here. We're doing everything we can, and we will continue to do everything we can. And if the situation arises, we will get her medical care as quick as possible. So, hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.